It's the Legend of Boggy Creek, the docudrama that made $20 million in the early 70s. It's almost like a hippie horror, but it's too backwoods to be a true hippie horror. This film basically set a paradigm for other Bigfoot films throughout the 70s that were filmed just like this. Can you believe this made $20 million? And it really comes off as like a nature docudrama, like a Marty Stover nature film with a narrative, and they really soak it in. And it's based off the real life Bigfoot type of sightings in Fouke, Arkansas, which is near Texarkana, filmed by Benny Pierce. And you know, it's hardcore 70s. It's never really scary at any moment, and every dead animal was blamed on him, and he always travels Boggy Creek. And they never really show the Bigfoot clearly. And it's based on factual sightings and one attack. Most of them were all just really boring sightings where they soak in the scenery and like do a bunch of things like go fishing and talk to a bunch of random locals who are amateur actors, like playing out the script, actually filmed on location. So it's pretty nice in that aspect if you like those old school nature documentaries. And what else can I say? They eventually visit this old man hermit who gets his tobacco supply from guys who live in town, and he lives way out in the boondocks, and he rolls his own for a social status, even though he's a feral hermit. But we all know the psychological intentions behind it. It's all about social status when you roll your own cigarettes. To boost his own social stature. Nah, I'm kidding. That's what someone says in the description of their video of how you roll your own cigarettes on YouTube. Anyway, he's like, there ain't no such thing as this ape-like monster. And they do the thing where they'll show Bigfoot's tracks, and it's like, and there is no snow. Actually, in this poster, it looks kind of like snow when it's like he's walking by the creek. A bunch of awesome scenery. But then they do these songs like country style. And then there's this western ending where they like defend the fort. You know how every old school western movie from like the 60s and 70s and 50s and stuff, it always ends with like a shootout where they'll be like defending the fort with like the women and children and like last cowboys standing, and they'll like have a shootout. And they have a shootout with Bigfoot, like he's attacking them, and they barely ever really show him, so there never really isn't that threat. They kind of treat him like the Phantom Elusive type. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I give it a C- overall for what it is. I'm going to be watching a bunch of Bigfoot 70s films coming up here. I'm reviewing several of them, including The Curse of Bigfoot. Oh, what else? I already reviewed Night of the Demons. That was a Keckler recommendation. You know he's probably on this Christmas season, you know he's on a hardcore, obscure horror spree because he's a trash cinema junkie. Shout out to Keckler and every other obscure horror junkie who has a vast VHS collection that I envy. I'm out.